Oh, it's a pretty day out here. And I was just like, I don't know what I was doing. You know how you have those days where you just like sit and think, the weather's beautiful, see the water, Eastern North Carolina, which is like a great place to raise kids. And so my name's Adrian. My husband and I have 4 children, 2 teenagers, one 12-year-old, and then an almost 8-year-old with special needs. So we kind of are a gamut: elementary school, 2 middle school, 1 high school. And you know, we're always talking and thinking, and how do we raise good kids, you know? And last week I did a couple videos on Brian Laundrie and the death of Gabby Petito, and talked about the parents. And all the sanctimommies go crazy. Oh, you're, blaming them for how he turned out. But I'm really not blaming them. But I am questioning, what could they have done different? And I think as parents, we always need to do that. What could we have done different? For instance, I have a child that eats like 3 things. It's sort of half my fault, right? And so on my supporter page, these are the kinds of conversations we have. But it's important to me to not just get them to 1,000 people, but to really be able to talk about them on a big network, because it's important. Hey, Taylor. And I'm no expert. I'm no magic perfect parent, but we're trying. And one thing my husband said that I shared a couple weeks. So this past summer, my 15-year-old was washing dishes. Hot kitchen. I never had a job washing dishes. I did roller skate on a boardwalk at Atlantic Beach. But wears sweatpants. I mean, he was like, this job is terrible. And I remember in the beginning, he said, why would anybody do this for a living? And I was like, this is why we're having him do this, right? I was like, well, maybe people didn't get an education, or maybe they didn't take advantage of the opportunities they have. And my kids have been given wonderful opportunities. They've gotten a good education. They will be supported so they can go to college. I mean, all the things that there's Mary Lou, all the things that we value and are important. And we want them to have those opportunities. So anyway, he washed dishes 6 weeks this summer. And meanwhile, I have friends and people's kids are going on these out west trips and doing really cool stuff. And I was like, doing the trick, when you're a parent and you're like, are we doing the right thing? Should we, he's not really, just having this like guilt of, are we doing enough? And my husband said to me, he said, from the time I was 13, I mowed grass all summer long. I mowed grass. And it was good for me. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, I just hate if he's going to miss out. And he was like, are we raising assholes, or are we raising people like me? And not that he's like, amazing, but there is that truth, right? So I've started thinking about this affluenza. Do you remember a few years ago, there was this guy named Ethan Couch, and Ethan Couch was 16, and it was 2013. He is drunk. He's stolen beer from Walmart with some friends, played some beer pong. He drinks, blows 3 times the legal limit, and he runs into a car that's parked on the side of the road, and he kills 4 people. And the parents, Jonathan, and the parents, hire an attorney, and the attorney comes up with this affluenza defense, right? Like, well, nobody's ever had consequences for him. And it's true. The parents were messy. He was messy. He gets no jail time. He gets a 10-year probation. And then his mother takes off with him, and they go to Mexico. Because, that's what you do when your child has killed 4 people in a car. So then he finally serves 2 years. Well, now he's like back in jail again or something. And we say, well, that's not shocking. But there are people out there that are like, well, it's not their fault. Bullshit. So recently, in Beverly Hills, of all places, shocker, but this isn't just in Beverly Hills, this could be everywhere. There was a boy. His name is Brendan Curry. So Brendan's dad is named James Curry. In June of 2020, so what's that? A little over a year ago, Brendan turned 17. And on his 17th birthday, his dad gave him a $218,000 Lamborghini SUV. Because, that's what you give to a 17-year-old. I did say that to my husband. He was like, well, I don't need to worry about that because that's not happening. Yay, Bet. I'm so glad you're a supporter. We have a good time. It's usually like chaos of family, but we have these conversations. So anyway, Brendan Curry gets this car. Now, mind you, his father, James Curry, is a multimillionaire. He owns several real estate firms. I think he has 9 companies that he's the CEO of. Super, super successful. Amazon is one of his clients. He's a serial entrepreneur, is what people call him. Hold on. I took a note, which means I took a picture of my phone since my printer has no ink. He distributes trading cards like Pokemon. I mean, serious stuff. Family's going on bid trips in the summer. I mean, my family goes on trips. I mean, I am not saying that we're over here digging ditches. But there's a level of when are you entitled to go on a trip and when do you say, boy, that was really a nice experience. Maybe it's just the part that it's you're supposed to get it. So let's talk about Brendan. So Brendan gets this $218,000 Lamborghini in June. Now in October and November, he's pulled over by police. He was driving over 70 miles an hour in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. Now, mind you, they suspend his license and his car is impounded. So in California, your car gets impounded. You have to pay, I don't know, $130 to get it out and $50 a day of however long it was in there. And they do that for people that, are terrible drivers. So his parents pay to get the car out a few weeks before, around Christmas time. So in September, so this is right before he was pulled over twice, his dad does a really cool Facebook photo, and the dad is in the picture with his $517,000 Lamborghini, and his son has the other Lamborghini. And he says, who's my son and I hanging out, cruising in the hills. Everyone knows whose car is faster. So we're talking about this boy named Brendan Curry, who's just went to court last week and got a sentence because he, in February, was driving his Lamborghini SUV and was going 106 miles an hour and T-boned a woman that ended up being his dad's secretary. And she died at the scene. So you hear, okay, great, her name is Monique Munoz, February 17th. He admits that he did it. He had submitted a juvenile court petition, charged him with vehicular manslaughter. Now, before the sentencing, his attorney said, he was sorry and he should get probation. Well, her family was no. Justice should be the same for everybody, and I think that's the real difference. Now, the police department officer, Daniel Whitmore, he analyzed the scene. He knew how fast he was going. There were other people that said he was racing. The family has really said, oh no, he wasn't racing. But it's kind of hard to not think he was when you see these social media posts that have now been deleted. The district attorney tells the judge when the hearing began that he thinks Brendan should be sent to a juvenile camp. Well, his attorney, Mark Winderman, said, no, he shouldn't go to a camp. He should just be home on house arrest. I'm sure it's no fun to watch your kid go to jail. I mean, I sat in jail one night. But there might be something useful of going to jail. And then when they realize he's not getting house arrest, they go, well, we'll put him in a private program, like a cush federal prison type program, but not a prison. And her family is like, no. So he gets sentenced and goes to a juvenile camp for 9 months. And these camps are run in Los Angeles, pretty normal. Well, then they come up with this new thing. This is really amazing. Here it is. Then they say, well, he can't go to the camp because they found this clinical psychologist, Karen Schultz. And Karen Schultz says he knows he was driving too fast, but he told her he didn't mean to hurt anyone and that he just needs intervention. And then she says, and this one is like the real clincher for me, he has autism, he has ADHD, he suddenly has all these problems, depression, and has probably had them for years, and nobody ever knew. So he can't go to this camp because he'll get bullied. He didn't have friends, he bought friends, and he doesn't read social cues. That's a whole nother topic, like the autism topic. But I can say to you as a mother of a son with autism, that's super offensive. And it's sort of been a theme lately. Oh, he has autism. Oh, he has autism. Oh, he has autism. People with autism are not drunk killers. They're just not. And it's offensive to mothers of children with autism when suddenly it's convenient for you to utilize a diagnosis to get your kid out of a problem. Do you know how hard it is to be the parent of somebody with autism? It's pretty hard. And maybe it's not the autism, it's all the things that go with the autism. But like my son Amos is just, if you say, Amos, how old are you going to be on your birthday? He's been saying 1. I'm like, no, you're going to be 8. Now he can read, he can spell any country, he knows all the national anthems. But Amos isn't getting a driver's license. Amos is in a class with kids with special needs. Amos has to be watched all the time. Amos has a service dog. Like, that is autism. But anyway, the best part that I heard in all this is there's a Superior Court judge. Her name is Sabina Helton. And she said, and I quote, there's been a consistent lack of accountability in his life, and his parents' role is questionable in this regard. Finally, she is saying, no, you people paid to get his car when it had been impounded, and he had gotten 2 tickets. Now, my son's not getting a car for his 16th birthday. He can use my car. If he got 2 tickets for speeding and I had a lamp, do you think I would let him drive? No. That is such an easy, talk about natural and logical consequences. I do have a PhD in child development. You speed in your Lamborghini, which is a shock, because you have a Lamborghini. What are they meant for? Speed. And then we're just going to give you your car back, even though you have no license. I mean, are people crazy? Do you think you're raising good humans by doing this mess? Golly. Oh, thank you, Janine. Autistic individuals are far more likely to be the victim of a crime than a perpetrator. True. So this was October 21st. He began his stint. It's been 6 months since he pled guilty. And his defense team, really, they just kept going on and on. He should just, serve probation at his family's mansion. No. Now, he says this, Brendan says this, I realize my suffering does not even come close to what you have gone through. I was a spoiled, reckless 17-year-old who thought I was invincible. Bullshit. So this is super interesting. Soon, a few days after the incident, Brendan was out to lunch with friends, messing around. surrounded by armed guards, and people were like screaming and yelling at him, "Killer, killer, killer." We're talking about this affluenza case in Beverly Hills of this rich kid who kills a woman and now suddenly has autism and can't go to juvie. And as they were screaming, he was laughing and joking. Totally nonchalant behavior, totally nonchalant. And then, even better, his dad paid a public relations agency to modify the narrative of the tragedy. And he later posted an apology statement. So after the crash in February, all these internet folks are like, holy cow, when you Google the Curry name, nothing comes up about the crash. Nothing. What would come up is the first article, and I know you can pay to do this, of course I don't know how, but would be trading cards tycoon James Curry gives his aces to a good cause. So he deflected all this bad stuff and put good stuff into social media. I mean, that's just tacky. Tacky, tacky, tacky. So anyway, I realize most of us don't have the opportunity to give our kids a $218,000 car. But every single day we make a decision. My son won't give me his phone, won't give me the password. What do? I take the phone away. And about 8 hours later, he's like, when am I getting my phone back? And I'm like, never. You're never, ever getting it back, ever. So you take somebody's car away because they get a speeding ticket and you just give them the car back? As parents, I think there's some thought that if I love them, I have to do all these things for them. But if you love them, you want them to be good humans. And good humans don't drive recklessly and kill innocent women about to go to law school. It's just wrong. It's wrong. He was not tried as an adult. You can't be tried as an adult in California before you're 18. Or he could have gone to prison for 10 years, 6 to 10 years. So anyway, that's all I got. It's just really on my brain today. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to share this. And our supporters will be talking about the Curry case and this whole autism dynamic. And we're still thinking about Brian Laundrie, trying to figure out what the hell is going on with him. And this whole thing about it wasn't his DNA, which I have not read from a credible source. Justice for Gabby, my husband was on my supporter page Saturday. He's an attorney. He is actually a real attorney, but I'm always accused that he's like not one. And he was answering people's questions about law and civil suits and criminal charges for the parents and all sorts of stuff. So anyway, supporters, look forward to seeing you tomorrow because we already talked today. Good humans.